Welcome on the Passion Show, Coeur de la Passion, Heart of the Passion. Each show we have a new passion. And tonight I'm going to introduce you to our guest, Todd Beauchamp. I am Christelle Yvedel. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
And I understand you are passionate about audio, sound, technology.
Yes.
So please tell us about yourself.
Yeah, definitely. Just really got connected to the world of audio. Actually at a very young age. I was actually 13 when I first got connected to it. And my dad had bought me my first small little radio. And he had one that was a very similar size. And I remember putting them side by side, and they sounded so different.
Yes.
And I didn't know why. And I was just immediately hooked and connected. It's like, why does this sound so different? And just started researching, and even as a small kid. And, you know, coming into my adult life of just how, you know, music and movies are such a part of all of our lives.
Yes,
we get so emotionally connected.
That's right. You already had a distinction of the difference, and you had this curiosity to know more about it.
Yep. And I just always saw how people, you know, how we would get connected to our favorite song, you know, the emotional connections.
Yes.
And so growing up, just learning more and more of how can I take the acoustics and have that experience be the best that it can be.
Yes.
You know, so they're hearing every instrument, they're hearing every detail, that vocal sounds as natural as it possibly can, so that people get connected to their music or even their movies at a whole nother level.
Yes, that's a mystery when we think about sound.
Yeah.
We just every day hear, you know, any different sound around us. Yes. We're familiar with it, but when we think about it, where this sound come from, yes, how, you know, they come to us and attract us and connect to us.
Yeah, it's amazing of how, you know, it's one of our sensories and how it's such a part of everything we do and cues around us in the world. And
yes.
And you know, I love like in movies, you
yes.
know, watching people, you know, watching a great action shot, and there's really good, like we call it surround sound, where the sound, you know, steers the sound to follow a special effect, is watching people actually start moving their bodies when there's a full enveloping sound like that, different than just the sound that comes out of the TV.
Yes.
And so throughout their careers, really trying to, like I said, make that the best that we possibly can, so people really get that connection to whatever they're listening to.
Yes, you become passionate about how the sound envelop us, and how the sound touch our emotion, and make us just have a different thinking, and that's very interesting. This is very deep.
Yeah, and I love, you know, I love when someone's listening to a new, you know, product, let's say, and they've listened to the same song 1,000 times, their favorite song, and they go, wow, I never knew there was a flute in the background of the song, you know, because, you know, pulling that content out of the song through a great sound system, it just, they said, they start hearing instruments that they didn't even know were there, and that's fun to see. I love hearing that.
Yes, that's right. When I hear a song, we hear some more instrument louder maybe than others, but the one in the background, we kind of like, you know, no forget, we don't really know they're here. So, and you can now go very detailed and hear this sound. So you must have a very good ear, you know?
Yes, I listen. Yes. Yeah, I get teased about a lot as I'll hear things off in the background. It's like, do you hear that? And people are like, no. And but that's the fun of it, you know, of how to, you know, like setting up like recording studios, for example, is really, you know, how to capture that sound of the vocalist or the guitar, you know, and really listening to their natural voice and how to recreate that. So when people, you know, buy that CD or watch that movie, it sounds as natural as it can be.
You have a different hearing.
Yes.
And the perception of what is behind all this. So what is so passionate about it? Where do you go from there? What do you create from that? Did you create in your life different, I don't know, a new technology and new instruments.
Yeah, definitely. So it's been a lot of fun. Like through that, it's really brought a very broad career. It's really anything audio. You know, throughout my career, it's been everything from, you know, headphones to $100,000 home audio systems to iPod docks to non-lethal acoustic weapons to aircraft carriers to actually was involved in the first iPhone, and just, they said anything audio. It's connecting to people. And one of the things we're working on now is really enhancing the experience of home theater. You know, people are so connected to their movies, and with a great sound system, like we were mentioning earlier, it's, you really get connected to that movie when you're watching an action movie. You know, and there's an explosion or a piece of glass breaks.
Yes.
You hear those details or get the punch of that explosion, and it draws you into the movie, you know, in a different way than you would hear before. And so we've been working on a product for a couple of years that's, you know, right now in the home theater space, there's what we refer to as soundbar, and there's one we refer to as home theater in a box, and there's this really big jump to what we call high-end separates, and those are very high quality, very expensive, but very complicated. And we've been working on filling that gap. We want the sound. We want people to get that sound experience of the high-end separates, but be very simple and very easy to hook up. So it doesn't scare them off right from the get-go of the buying process, so they can actually bring that home and set it up and get that amazing theater experience in their own home.
Yeah, so you want the people get this experience and be around this sound. And actually, you know, when we watch a movie, we are totally in the movie. I mean, the way you telling right now, you are describing, I'm in the movie, whatever movie it is, I'm totally in the sound. And I would really now thinking more, you know, closely to the sound and see what is behind, you know, that we don't really perceive right away. Yeah. So this is the emotion. The sound gives you emotion.
Definitely. Like I said, it's exciting one of the other sensories. You know, we have the TVs nowadays have amazing pictures, and how do we expand that, you know, into exciting another one of our sensories? And like I said, I've, you know, given demos where we've created that surround sound system, and it was a car chase scene, and the gentleman was literally, every time the car would turn, the sound would steer over to, you know, and follow basically the car zooming through the screen. And he would actually move his body and was physically following the sound
while driving.
And as, you know, if we were to turn that sound off and it was just the sound in the TV, he wouldn't have had that experience. And he would have just been watching the movie without that body sensation that he would have been physically moving himself watching the movie.
Yes, it's deep and powerful. Then it goes to your brain and change your state of mind.
Yeah, definitely.
So
yeah, one of the best experiences a couple of years ago is actually one of our neighbors. We'd just done a new sound system home theater for them, and they were playing an action movie, and the cops actually, there was a bunch of gunshots in the movie, and it sounded so realistic that another neighbor actually called the police.
Already?
And they had to, the police actually had, the theater was in the back of the house, and the police actually had to bust down the door because the people couldn't hear that they were at the front door and came in and thought that there was something going on. They were just sitting there watching their movie.
Wow.
And that's how realistic it sounded.
That's real.
Yeah.
Yes. But that's amazing. That's right. Right now we are all in this latest technology, always new, something's happening, new discoveries. And most people have that in their house, right? Like the theater sound, and this is real. That's right. You're already on a ride there.
Yeah, yeah. And the neat thing about, you know, like I said, being just connected to how sound functions, you know, it's everything. Like I said, it's like my passion is in sharing that music in movies.
Yes.
But sound can be used for so much more. You know, like I mentioned earlier, it's like we actually developed some products years ago at another company that I worked for, that we developed some non-lethal acoustic weapons.
And what did you say?
Non-lethal acoustic weapons.
Non-lethal acoustic weapons.
Yeah, and they were designed to establish intent. So you could establish someone's intent in approaching like a checkpoint in a military base or a military vessel. And you could do it in a way that there was no lethal force needed. And so you could establish their intent and just establish communication with them far enough away that they knew that they were in a restricted zone. And so, there's so many avenues that sound can go, from the pleasure side to the protection side.
Yes.
And that makes it a lot of fun, being able to get involved and problem solve whatever the category is.
Yes, that's a necessity also for the sound.
Yeah, absolutely.
To hear and what's happening around us. With no sound, we don't really know what's happening, and that makes me think about the people. They don't hear. They don't have the sound as we do. But I know now with this new technology, they have very specific hearing, if we can call, and they can hear the sound actually.
Absolutely.
Is that amazing?
Yeah, and that's the great thing about the technology and the advances is just taking care of that. We actually developed a product a couple of years ago that created sound almost like a laser pointer.
Yes.
And I could literally point it at you, and you would be the only one in the room that would hear it. I could turn it a couple degrees, and it would shoot right past you, and you wouldn't even hear it. And the interesting thing that we never actually expected is we had a couple of people that were actually deaf, and they were actually able to hear, because it was a completely different speaker technology. They were actually able to hear this, which was something we never even thought was possible. And that was a very interesting experience for us and for them.
They already hear it. And
they could actually hear it, because the way it generated sound was a totally unconventional approach. And it wasn't like a normal loudspeaker produced sound. And we still don't know why to this day of how they were able to hear it, but they could actually hear it, which was very exciting.
It's like the animals, so dogs, when they are trained, they have some little whistling and they can hear the sound. We don't.
Exactly.
But the dogs, actually the one in training, they can hear it.
Yep. Yeah. So it's a similar experience, and like I said, that's the neat thing, is just being able to look at whatever the problem is, or how can we use acoustics to solve that, from the non-lethal acoustic weapon to protecting people. Another fun one was redesigning an aircraft carrier.
Yes.
Again, looking on how can we use sound to save lives and protect people up on the flight deck of an aircraft carrier, so they can hear warnings when they're going on and clearly hear communications, so that if it's so loud up there, they can't see everything going on, that they can actually, there's someone watching them. Every time something's going on in that flight deck, there's someone above them watching. They can give that communication and let them know that there's something coming up behind them.
Wow, this is powerful. It goes far.
Yes.
The connection goes far.
Yes.
You can reach anyone, actually.
Yeah.
So what did you recently experience, or something you want to tell us? What was your experience recently in a sound system or audio? Yeah,
so over this last several months, the product that I was mentioning earlier is really the experience of bringing that passion, of building the product and designing the product, that people, like bringing that enjoyment out to the masses and going through those motions. And actually bringing that to the world has been very exciting. It's like a dream come true.
Wow.
And just a couple months ago, it's like driving it cross country to a demo, over on the East Coast, actually on 4th of July. And it was like a dream come true. It's like the prototype in the back of the truck, driving across country to do a demo. And just
do a demo driving across country?
Yeah, so I drove 70 hours for a 1-hour meeting.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
And but it was an amazing experience. It's like literally driving across America, 4th of July. It sounds almost corny, but it was amazing. Of fireworks going off, and just looking in my rearview mirror and seeing the prototype in the back of the truck, and going like, this is a dream come true. To follow that passion, as crazy as it sounded. I'm going to be a speaker designer. But following that ever since I was 13 years old and never giving up on it, and all the way to creating a whole new product line has been very exciting.
That's beautiful when you find your passion and to follow this through all your life. And when you find it so young, be able and to just believe in yourself, because you have to believe in yourself and go follow the path and continue and keep your passion and just go loving it, living it, creating. Inspiring, connecting. So that's wonderful. So you're going to all through your life developing this passion and here to make a difference for all the world, because the sound, it's all around us. It's the complete planet.
Yeah, definitely. And it's fun. It's like going through that and getting, fortunate to be connected at such a young age, just almost exuding that passion. Like people just knew that's what I was involved with ever since I was a kid, that it just naturally put myself in the right place at the right time to connect with people. And I think I was about 20 when I met the most well-known speaker designer in the world.
Yes.
And I actually had his book sitting right there. Like I had a bunch of notes, and I took it everywhere I went. And he came into a small little shop that I was working in, and I just like went crazy. I was like, this is like, he's like my idol. And he saw that passion. And I remember giving him my card and said, if you ever need any help, like I'll work for free. I want to learn this industry. And within a week, he called me up and said, hey, I've got a bunch of speakers we need to test for a magazine. And he brought me over and trained me. And actually let me into all the courses that he was teaching, and actually took me under his wing. And that was an amazing experience. And he could see that passion and was willing to contribute to that. And it was amazing, the snowball effect that happened from that, and the connections made through him, and actually brought me to San Jose today. Because of that one connection.
So you start the beginning maybe very basic, but you have your foundation and you go from there. And actually, I would say, sharing your passion to any connection. And that's where you meet people and you develop that, and from one to another, it's like continuing and growing and to reach any goal you want in your life.
Yeah, definitely. And it seems so natural. Following that dream and following that passion, everything just naturally kind of fell into place. And was very fortunate with that, and how like this gentleman Vance, like how, he could see that and connect me, out in the world, and that network just grew very, very quickly.
Yes, it's just open for you, and any direction you go through, and you always discover something new. So what's your next step now, we can say? Where are you going? What's your next dreams? Because dreams following dreams, right?
Yeah, definitely. The next biggest one is really the release of the product we've been working on, because that's really the personal, I would say, triumph. I've been involved with some of the most successful companies in the world, and this is the first one on my own. My own product, bringing to the market, bringing to the world. And so there's a different connection to it and a different excitement level. And so to see that all the way through to the end, and actually be able to go to someone's living room and actually see that product there and see their experience with it is very exciting.
That's a golden medal, we say, as the Olympics. We go through, we be trained, and that's the same thing, and to reach our goal, and whatever happens, and we continue and we do it again, and until we are there. And whatever is coming up, you just there for people. I mean, I understand you're really present for that.
Yeah, definitely. And I think after that, it's like, what's next after that? It's how can I bring that connection to other people? How can I create opportunities for young kids that may just a simple exposure to acoustical engineering or electrical engineering could make all the difference in the world. And so really we've been starting a nonprofit called Inspineering that we want to give back. You know, it's like and share that passion. There's a lot of great organizations, you know, here in San Jose and around the country that do that same thing. You know, there's business groups that are retired individuals that loved their career, very passionate, and they volunteer their time for a young company starting up. There's a lot of great local programs, you know, Big Brother programs, and just exposing kids to different things that can completely alter the path of their life.
Yeah, so I see you creating right now a non-profit organization. You want to reach the young people.
Yeah.
They can understand whatever they dream of, want to be.
Yep.
They can develop that as they grow up and realize that in their life.
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, it's just that simple, you know, we want to set it up to where we can, you know, what's it mean to be an acoustical engineer, for example?
Yeah, because for them, depending how young they are, but what is this?
Exactly.
What does that mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. Show me.
Exactly. And set up like little workshops, you know, and what does that mean? And give them a chance to actually come into the labs and actually, what's it mean to test a loudspeaker or set up a microphone, stuff like that, where, like I said, that simple little spark, that simple little exposure can set a whole world that they never even knew was possible.
So that be in a real life, like,
Exactly.
you know, practice and
Yeah.
see how it works and how to use it, and what do I go from there.
Exactly.
So yes, that's perfect. That's what, you know, most of the young people want.
Yeah.
They want to be there on the field and
Exactly.
go from there and in action, be in action.
Yeah, exactly. And that's, you know, it's in connecting with other people that have a similar passion, whether it be acoustics or electronics or computers. Most of, from Inspineering, it's, you know, with an engineering background, you know, because that's something that I'm so passionate about. And so looking for other engineers that want to be able to share that with the kids and bring that and set up a mechanical engineering, you know, workshop, you know, and to get exposed to the different programs or, you know, different products and so on, and like, what does it actually mean to be a mechanical engineer or an electrical engineer?
Yes,
And,
I'm sure you have a lot of them. They're interested.
Yeah.
So did you regroup some of them already?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So there's
around here
yeah. So several people that I worked at, and the previous company that I worked for.
Yes.
And electrical mechanical engineers and yeah, just connecting with people. And like I said, when you're sharing, you know, out in the world, like people want to contribute to that. They see the passion, and just simply opening our mouths and sharing it, people go, oh, you need to talk to Frank or Lisa. You know, Lisa would be great to bring in and introduce to the kids. And so it expands very rapidly, and that's a lot of fun to see.
Yes, that's great. And you have a group already of volunteer working with you?
Yeah.
A team?
We have a small team. It's something that we're just kind of in the beginning stages of building all that up and, you know, creating, you know, like websites and getting all that started. So it's still in the beginning stages, but it's starting to move.
Yes, so you're going to have some material to show and you're planning all that. So when are you going to open this, and for how many hours a day? What would be the availability? Do you have a camp for summer?
Yeah, a lot of that's still in the generation, or still generating a lot of that. I would say probably by the end of the year.
Yes.
A lot of the structure of it will be set. There's a couple different groups that have programs like that already, and so we can partner up with them to bring the engineering. Like there's several Big Brother programs that already exist, and this could just be a connection to that to be able to, like I said, expose the engineering world to the kids in some other programs.
Yeah, so connecting to different programs, bringing all these programs together, that's how you created a big team.
Yep, exactly.
So that is very interesting and intriguing, you know, also. It's very intriguing. So how do you go from there and to reach these young people? Do you go in school? Do you go talk to parents in some different, you know, we have parent-teacher conference, but
Yeah,
where, I
exactly.
don't know, you can be there and talk to the kids,
Yeah.
offer them, you know, a presentation or something and see who is interested?
Yeah, so we started a program a year ago, and we actually reached out to the local schools. And we actually had rented downtown City Hall in
Really?
Campbell. And we had like 6 different engineers covering all the different disciplines. And what I was actually surprised is the school district actually wouldn't let us come into the schools unless we were a registered nonprofit. And we hadn't started that process yet.
Yes.
And so we had to push the event back.
Okay.
And I totally understand where they were coming from, but that was a little bit of a surprise. It actually set us back a little bit, but it's not going to stop us.
But now you see it's very positive.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
and
definitely.
very creative for all these young people.
Yeah.
So that's what you want to bring.
Yep, definitely.
So what was your most, during all this passion and time and go on the future, learning, you know, always new technology, what was your most impressive, that impressed you during this time, that about audio, sound?
Yeah, man, there's 2.
Okay.
Yeah, the first one was finishing the aircraft carrier. Was absolutely amazing.
I can imagine.
I remember walking. I don't know if you've ever stood next to one, but they're massive.
Yes,
they're absolutely
impressive.
massive. And I remember it was the day that we finished, and we were walking with all the lead contractors that actually did the installation. We're walking towards the ship, and it's like it's actually complete. The ship is deploying the next day, and just like actually was able to step back enough to enjoy what we actually accomplished.
Wow.
It was the first time the military had upgraded their speakers in 40 years.
Okay.
And that was an amazing experience to see the ship and be able to see the speakers up there and know that we pulled it off.
Wow.
So,
Thank you. Thank you, Todd Beauchamp, for this beautiful experience and
definitely. Thank you.
sharing this passion and beautiful story with our viewers, and that inspired all of us, and especially now we know the young people, they want to know more about it.
Yeah, thank you.
So that's fantastic. Yes. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Thank you for our viewers and watching us. Always these beautiful stories will inspire the crew. It's amazing to have a crew around us and be creative. Thank you again, and for the next show, a new passion, again, Coeur de la Passion. Thank you.